Welcome to another edition of Arizona Wildcats Insiders Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Hutchison, and we are inching closer to college football season. Arizona opens up its season against Hawaii on August 3rd, playing in that Week 0 game against the Rainbow Warriors in kind of a Dick Tomey classic game. The two programs were obviously coached by legendary coach Dick Tomey, so we're going to be seeing those two teams kick off the college football season for Arizona. But as we inch closer to the start of the year, we are approaching training camp. Now, usually Arizona and other college football teams start the training camp a month before the season. Arizona just now announced that it will have its local media day on the 29th of July. That is going to be on a Wednesday, I believe, off the top of my head. So stay tuned for that. We're going to have coverage from that with interviews from coaches, players, and the head coach, Brent Brennan, covering, what's going to take place during training camp, talking about what the players did during the offseason, and what to expect for the upcoming 2025 year. Obviously, Arizona is coming off of a disappointing season where the team went 4-8 under Brent Brennan in his first year as head coach for the program. A lot of things went wrong. Obviously, injuries plagued Arizona throughout the year, offensively and defensively. Arizona started behind the eight ball to start the year, losing a offensive lineman right before the start of the season. The player Raymond Polito decided to quit football and pursue other avenues in his professional career. And also you had Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, who was suspended for the majority of the year due to NCAA rules. They ruled that he was out of eligibility. So after that first game where he exploded against New Mexico, that was all she wrote. So left Arizona a little bit behind the eight ball. And to be quite frank, Noah Fifita did not have that type of season that Arizona fans are used to him having. 18 touchdown passes to 12 interceptions, sacked 28 times. He struggled. And, it wasn't just Noah. The offensive line had its issues. The receiving core outside of Tetero McMillan was a lot left to be desired there. So there are some issues out of his control. But the coaching staff was revamped this offseason. New coordinator Seth Dagey, new defense coordinator Danny Gonzalez. They're kind of working their magic, trying to re-energize those units. You have other new coaches like Joe Salavea on the coaching staff, Josh Miller, the tight ends coach, and much, much more. But those guys kind of headline it. And you look at this upcoming year, one thing that I want to talk about is the depth at the quarterback position. Last year, during those struggles for Noah Fifita, there wasn't anybody that you could put in. I know you had a four-star quarterback in Brandon Dorman, but let's be honest, he extremely underachieved while on campus here at Arizona. Didn't develop very well. Had issues with the short game, beautiful lawn bomb, but didn't have the quick trigger that you need as a quarterback at the college level or the NFL level. And then behind him were basically a bunch of walk-ons with some transfers that just weren't going to play at Arizona or weren't going to play at the D1 level, but they needed bodies behind Noah Fifita. They got what they could out of the transfer portal when Brent Brennan got in here at the time. It was during the late transfer window. So not a lot of options for Arizona. So you saw Noah Fifita struggle, never get pulled. And I'm not talking about pulled for performance. Noah Fifita is a terrific quarterback, and he will be starting quarterback for Arizona. I'm talking about pulled in a sense where the game was over, and you're seeing him get beat up, hit again and again and again out there on the field and just kind of wasting his energy out there in a situation where, you know what, you don't want to see anybody get hurt. And that's the biggest thing. I thought there were situations where they should have pulled him. The BYU game comes to mind. He played in the last minute and a half and, last 5 minutes, and it just was no need for it. But then again, there wasn't anybody you could trust or put in there at that point in time. So now with Seth Dagey, Arizona went out there in the transfer portal. They added Braden Locke from Wisconsin. And if you haven't seen the tape on Braden Locke yet, and if you haven't really watched him play from Wisconsin last year, I think Arizona fans are going to love him. I think he's kind of like a poor man's Jay Cutler, similar skill set in terms of has a big, massive arm on him, can sling the ball all around the football field, sometimes throws it into tight windows. You know, that happens with gunslingers, but he has that gunslinger mentality. He can create plays out of chaos. I love what I saw. I think if Noah Fifita ever got hurt this year, and something like that happened, that Arizona now has a competent quarterback they could put out there, and Braden Locke, who I think for most programs, in the Power Five, he could start for most programs. I think he's a tremendous player. So Arizona's got some talent there. Then they added a recruit where they were able to flip him from Purdue, because Seth Dagey was one of the guys recruiting him, but he didn't want to go to Marshall. He went to Purdue. He flipped to Arizona when Seth Dagey got there, and that's Sawyer Anderson. And, he's listed as 6'2". I think he might be a little bit smaller than that, but big arm on him, quick release, mobile in the pocket, very young, very raw. I can understand why he was a 3-star recruit, a high 3-star recruit. It's going to take some time for him to develop, but there's a lot of talent there. There's a lot to like there, and I think Arizona fans are going to like seeing him in the future. I think he's going to be a guy where you're going to see his name in the future potentially for Arizona. I know they got some talent coming in their current recruiting class, but Sawyer Anderson is a legitimate arm back there for Arizona. So now the Wildcats are 3 deep. They're 3 deep at receiver with some walk-ons as well, but it's a legitimate 3 deep, not a we have 3 bodies type of 3 deep. It's legitimately 2 to 3 deep at the quarterback room. Noah, he's never been a guy that needed extra motivation. I don't think he's a guy that needs to be pressed. I don't think he's a guy that doesn't work hard. He's a hard worker. His teammates love him, and he's an all-energy guy, and he's one of the leaders of this football team. But with that being said, when you go to work every day on the football field, knowing that you can't be replaced, knowing that it's you or nothing, that you got to lay it out there on the line, give it your all every single down, and then some. Sometimes it causes you to make mistakes because you're worried about what happens if we don't pull this off, what happens if I don't make this play, and then you start thinking. So I think this is going to relieve some pressure off of them, and iron sharpens iron. I think that's the biggest thing, too, is there's going to be competition out there on the field. Again, Noah Fifita is the starting quarterback. There is no quarterback controversy at all in Tucson. But the fact that you have somebody that can go in there in a given situation if you need it, that helps. And I think it helps Noah Fifita, too, just in terms of competition. If somebody's slinging the ball all over the field in practice and having a great practice, I'd want to, too. I would want to show them why I'm the starting quarterback. I'd want to show the team why I'm the starting quarterback, and I want to show the coaching staff why they're picking the right guy. And I think it just competition breeds success, and I think that's one of the key things for any football team, for any athletic program in any college sport, is iron sharpens iron. So I think that's huge for Noah Fifita, and I think it's huge for the team. Now, does one fit in Seth Dagey's offense better than the other? I think Anderson is more of the future of what Seth Dagey wants to run at Arizona in terms of up-tempo gunslinger mentality. And again, Braden Locke is a gunslinger. Braden Locke can move, but Anderson has a little sneaky wheels behind him. He has some sneakiness to him. So Braden Locke, to me, isn't necessarily a pocket passer, but I think he's more of the prototypical passer than Sawyer Anderson is. But I think he might have the best arm out of the 3, to be honest. Noah Fifita has a very good arm. He's a very good quarterback. But I think Braden Locke has the best deep ball out of the group. When you look at him sling the ball comes out with ease. It comes out with precision and accuracy, and it comes out like a shotgun shot out of a cannon. So I really love what Arizona's done with its quarterback room. I think Seth Dagey's got a lot of options to work with. Obviously, Noah Fifita will be the starting quarterback. But when you have that type of experience, that type of talent behind Noah, I think it bodes well for the team. Because think of this, not only can they help the team in terms of iron sharpens iron, but when you're scouting another team, when you need a scout team quarterback, Sawyer Anderson or Braden Locke, depending on how the quarterback looks, can go out there and sling the ball all over the football field. If you're going up against a guy that isn't very talented and your defense are taking reps against them, it doesn't really help you. So I think this is not only a case of them helping out Noah Fifita, them helping out the offense, and them helping out the whole team confidence. I think it's helping out the defense as well, because you're going to be going up against higher level of talent, and you're going to have to keep your head on a swivel and look for everything, because these guys can ball. Arizona's quarterback room, outside of Noah Fifita last year, was one of the worst in the conference. Noah Fifita is tremendous, but behind him was not good at all. It was one of the worst in the conference. This season, you're looking at one of the better quarterback rooms in the Big 12 There's a lot of talent out there in the Big 12 and a lot of talent out there in college football, but it is a highly talented group, and it's going to be fun to watch them this spring.